What's up, y'all? My name is that don't matter. If you know me, you know me. If you don't, my name really is irrelevant. You can call me Coach. I'm just a dad that's always in the gym. I train kids. I coach youth basketball. I mentor a lot of kids around the country. I talk to a lot of parents throughout the AAU organization and just try to help people deal with this AAU environment and growing up a young hooper. There's a lot of single moms out there or just parents that are new to the environment. I've been around for a little while. I get it from my father. My father was a good man in my community and just helped anybody he could, any youth. He organized softball games in the community and basketball tournaments and things like that. So I just, chip off the old block. Anyways, I wanted to start making YouTube videos about youth basketball, specifically certain topics. My first topic is probably the most interesting one in youth basketball right now, and that's that reclass. Yeah, I said reclass. Reclass has been a big thing in the East Coast. I have a cousin who is raising his two young sons out there, three young sons, but two in the youth basketball environment in the DMV area, and we've been talking about reclass for years. I actually currently reside in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle, Washington, and it wasn't as prevalent in this area as it is now, but there are some factors that I think may be adjusted, and we'll get to that um, later on in the video. I'm going to make the video short. Just bear with me. I promise it's a good topic. I promise you'll get a lot of information out of it. So my research, first of all, let me tell you what reclassing is, just in case you're somebody that doesn't know what that is. Reclassing is just that I'm a kid. My kid could have started school when they were 6, but instead I wait a year and I don't let them start school till they're 7. Or my son's in the 7th grade, and instead of letting him move on to the 8th grade, I keep him back in the 7th grade. Some people may ask, why would you do that? Well, there's a lot of reasons, I think. Specifically for basketball, just give a kid more confidence, more time to develop, more time to grow into their body, and also an advantage because now, obviously, you're going to be playing against kids maybe a year younger than you. But also, to me, there's just maturity. Like, anytime you give somebody another year to grow and develop, they're going to mature, right? They're going to be more mature. They're going to make better decisions. They're going to grow. We all, as we learn, as we get older, we grow, right? So, gives them that opportunity to. And then, like I said, the development with their body and things like that, so on. So, specifically in basketball, it's getting done right now to give. Initially, it probably started about 10 years ago, it was for kids with late summer birthdays. You would get those kids that were, these kids were all turning 14 and they didn't turn 14 until the summer, so they literally was never 14 throughout the whole school year, and all these other kids seemed to be a year older, but 8 to 9 months older in most cases. So it started off to give those kids like feeling like I'm gonna go back to my regular grade so I can be an older kid in the grade rather than a younger kid, and those kids end up being successful. So then it started with kids that were not developing. We all develop at different times in our lives, so some kids just held themselves back because they were smaller and it gave them more time to grow and develop in their bodies. Both of those situations started being successful. So now in 2021, you start seeing kids that are the top of their class, that are some of the best kids in the state, that literally reclass, move back. They're well developed. In a lot of cases, personally, I know they're very mature young men, so they're just trying to give themselves the best advantage to hopefully one day get a scholarship for this game. I'm hoping that's what they're doing, and they should be honest about it, or it may be even a pro contract. There's nothing wrong with saying you want to be a pro. I don't think. I think it's hard to be an astronaut. And if your son said he wanted to be, or son or daughter came to you and said they wanted to be an astronaut, you wouldn't tell them not to read and research and put all those hours into that, right? it's okay to say you want to be a pro, but it's hard work. So you got to work. So my research, I researched this. I watched D Rich has something on YouTube where he posted and talked about reclassing, and like he said, it's gonna be there. So keep pushing. Don't worry about it. You just gotta keep working. It's gonna be there. You can't get around it. Just keep working. Stop complaining about it. Nobody cares. Get to work. Get to work. Get to work. Also, a good podcast, Rhythm Dribble, season 1, episode 8. It's about reclassing. It's really good. A lot of information on there. They talked about an article from the Washington Post from Samantha Peel. I'm pretty sure the article in research of elite basketball prospects repeating a grade to get an advantage. So check that article out. Check that podcast out. Definitely check D Rich's YouTube out. It's a good one also. And I watched a few other YouTubes, but I think right now it has to be readdressed because of COVID. COVID really changed everything. Like, it forced kids that wouldn't reclass to have to reclass. Like, I know at school, specifically in Tacoma, Washington, that 5 seniors all came back to play basketball. So what happens to those juniors that thought it was their turn? Or what happens to that sophomore that thought they was moving up to varsity? Or that it's just a trickle down effect. Or what happened to those kids that were trying to move on to college that didn't get seen that last year? Like, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. It was a rough year for basketball players overall. And again, I'm no expert on none of this stuff. I'm just a dad that's a gym rat. I'm always in the gym. So I do spend enough time and I speak to enough people and I watch enough videos and read enough articles and I'm I put enough hours in to be an expert on the topic. So I will say that I have some type of expertise. But for those people who've done it, I commend you, honestly. You you did what you thought was best for your kid to help them be successful. How could you ever hate on any of that? How could you say something wrong about it? Yeah, it sucks when my son, who I haven't done it, and today actually is the last day I could. He's actually going to high school next year, but just not in his race, not in his marathon, to quote my dude Nip, not in his marathon. So I'm going to let him run his marathon. I'm going to support any other of my hooper buddies out there that have done it, and um, support any parent that decided to do that with their kid. And I'm just going to keep it pushing. When I was about 4 or 5 years ago, I was the guy, no, I would never, but I see it. As my son's gotten older and I've been around it, I understand why people have done it, and I understand why people do it. And if it's to get your son an advantage, son or daughter, I'm sorry, because there's a lot of female hoopers I know out there to get to it. If it's to get them an advantage and try to get them a free education and even a professional to play at this game professionally. And believe me, hoopers, there's so many other ways to make money out there with this game. So, man, just keep trusting the game. Keep pushing. Do not allow anybody to outwork you, and it don't matter if you reclass or not. If you work, you can be anybody you want to be, man. You can get as far as you're supposed to be. Be a good person, make all those good decisions. Don't allow those distractions, sacrifice. Those things matter. So, parents, again, man, I know some people don't like it. I know you're gonna want to say that's soft or that's the wrong way out. They're trying to give their kid an advantage. Don't we all want our kid to have an advantage? Don't we all want our kids to be successful? And again, my son isn't in a reclass. He's in his right grade. He's gonna stay in his right grade and tough it out. He's not a ultra athletic kid, but let's just work, see what happens. In the end, parents, one thing I do want to also say, and probably another topic we'll talk about later on, allow your kids to love the game and just play. It's a game, right? Give them days off. Work them, if they want to work them, and don't not push them. Dads, don't be out there not pushing them. Moms, don't hold dads back from pushing them because every kid's gonna need a little push, and dads don't over push, or vice versa, you know. Support each other, support the dream, and if your kid says he wants to go to college to play basketball, then they need to be pushed because it's hard to do. This video is probably the longest one I'm going to do because it's my first one and I'm just kind of learning. But I did want to again address the topic of reclassing. If you have any questions or comments, please comment so I can learn more, so I can grow, so we can have a conversation about this. Let me know what you think about reclassing, and get on my head. If you think I'm 100% wrong, let me know. Get at me. I'm with all that. I want all the smoke. Holla at your boy, man. Good luck again to all the hoopers out there. Parents, do what's best for yours. Don't worry about what nobody else says. Go get it. Hoopers, get up, work. Bless the ball for sure, man. Win regardless. Keep pushing.